What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pleeka. I'm Jerome.
And I'm Nick.
And today we're talking about Arrow Season 7, Episode 4, Level 2. So how we're going to do today's video is we're going to start off talking about the prison stuff, and then we'll go into Renee and Diana, like the normal stuff, and then we'll go into the future stuff. We'll try to keep that format every video, but chances are we're going to fuck that up somehow.
Right.
But we'll attempt to. So, all right, first, prison stuff. What do you think about all the Ollie prison stuff? So after last week's episode, he stabbed like 7 guards and put them into the hospital or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now there's some doctor who keeps injecting him with truth serum and strapping things to his head, and fucking the lights are going off on him, and he keeps having flashbacks to his dad because the guy, for some reason, really wants to know about his dad's message.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's very specific, too. Like, I couldn't tell if the guy was just, like, trying to get to his mind, being like, shouldn't have been an arrow.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I expected going into this episode finding out who the demon was. And
I did, too. I thought this episode was called that's next week's episode is called The Demon, so that's next week we'll know that.
But couldn't this doctor be the demon?
I was afraid they were going to do that. There's supposed to be someone else in prison that Oliver knows.
Oh.
So it'd be weird if it was that, if the doctor's a demon, then it has to be someone else. So I just assume it's the demon, but that's not confirmed.
Right.
But I got a villainous vibe from the doctor, him doing stuff like that. But I also couldn't tell if he was just doing his job, trying to, because like next time they say they're trying to erase his memory, which I told you, Rajal Gota tried to do that, and he just pretended, and it looks like he pretends in the trailer too. Oliver.
It does look like he's pretending.
So I feel like he's gonna tap into his fucking training from season 3 or whatever.
It never goes well when they try to torture him or do stuff to him like that.
Yeah, usually it ends up with a lot of people hurt.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting. It was very different for the show, like them to keep doing that and like him having flashbacks, and then he even envisioned himself with William there. That was actually really cool, them recreating that.
That was actually kind of creepy when he shot himself.
Yeah, and he was like crying with William and all that. At first, I thought he was gonna change it and be different, and like he's like, "Oh, well, I'll protect you, and we'll try to survive on the island because like I know we can." But then he shot himself.
Yeah, I figured he's gonna kill himself because they always said there was not enough food for one person. So
Yeah, but then I figured he's lived on the island. He might know that
yeah,
him and Deathstroke and like a whole army survived there. Like there's like 1,000 people coming in and out of that island.
Well, yeah, but it was food on the boat, not on the island.
Yeah,
you know.
So that's why I just figured he might change it. But I thought the prison stuff was really interesting. I wish there was more of it.
At least he didn't shoot the bodyguard.
Yeah, there was no bodyguard, so he could have been more food still. But yeah, I kind of hope that guy's not the demon. That guy doing stuff to him. Yeah. But at the same time, I'd be okay with it because he's a pretty good actor and like it seemed interesting.
Yeah, he stayed like in the middle where you couldn't tell if he was good or bad. Like you feel like he's gonna be bad because he's doing stuff to Oliver in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But he might be trying to help him.
He might just be trying to brainwash him to make him a normal person, not a murderous machine. But so now moving into Star City, where you got Wild Dog and Black Canary at each other's throats because he was to work with the Green Arrow and she was to take him down. And what do you think about all that this week?
Well, the funny thing is she was annoying at first.
Yeah, but then I kind of liked her in the end.
Yeah, because she changed her mind.
Yeah,
but I found their story the most interesting.
I did too. I'm still completely over Felicity.
I'm not.
Well, I just this season she's just bugging me.
Oh, she's not me.
Like I don't know. I did like her more this episode. Her and Laurel teaming up. That was neat.
They got some different team ups. Well, if you consider like,
because I mean, it's a different team because she hasn't worked with this Laurel.
Yeah,
I did like we got some backstory on the Laurel too. We already knew that her dad died and Oliver died in her Earth, but that like the Felicity there was cutthroat and all that. Do you think like we're gonna see that future Felicity in like the flash forwards? We're gonna see that at all, or do you think that was just like a random mention of her?
I don't think it was random.
Like, do you think we're gonna see her this season?
I don't know if we'll necessarily see that Felicity, but I think we'll see something about her in Felicity.
Oh, okay, like she'll say, "Oh, you guys are more alike" or whatever. Yeah, because like sometimes when they say stuff like that, you're like, "Oh, that was too like spot on for it to be a random mention." Yeah. But I thought that was cool. I like this Laurel more this season than I did last season because a lot of the time last season it was like, "No, I'm working with you, Ollie," and then right to Diaz. But
yeah, back to Wild Dog and who do you think the new Green Arrow is?
Yeah, so they're working with the new Green Arrow. We got a lot of close-ups with him this episode.
None of his face, though.
Well, we did, but not very good. They did a
Right.
lot better covering up than they do with like Oliver's the Green Arrow, and you're like, oh, that's clearly Stephen Amell.
Right.
It looks like it's a skinny guy. Like it doesn't look as buff as Stephen Amell, but I think obviously it's a stunt man, so that could change when they reveal it.
I know it doesn't because
That's the hard part of trying to guess who
my
it is.
brain's telling me it's Roy.
Me too, because every fucking person he runs into in the future knows who he is. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
Roy. That happened like 3 times this episode.
Yeah.
So I feel like it has to be Roy,
But
especially because Wild Dog's daughter, Zoe, knows who he is. And, like, I feel like it would just make sense.
it doesn't look like Roy when he's running around.
It doesn't at all, and I don't think Roy would use, like, a voice modulator, which it sounds like he's got. I don't know. We had a theory for a while, which everybody thinks this too, but that it was Grant Gustin because, like, to tease for the crossover, and that's how maybe it would lead into it.
Yeah.
I kind of don't think that's the case now. It's still a possibility. Anything really is.
I really don't think that's it, but I really hope that it is.
That would be cool. It'd be a cool way to go into the crossover and to tie
Yeah.
the crossover into the normal seasons.
Yeah, totally.
It would just be weird if for some reason Grant Gustin's Arrow was in Star City Earth 1 for some reason, but like that's an easy like figure out, you know?
I mean, they got Laurel.
Yeah, he could be after her, yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure who it is. I feel like Roy's the only one that really makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Unless it's like a random character that he was in it in season 1 and he saw something, now he's Green Arrow, you know what I mean? Or like
yeah, it could be someone random like that, but I
Mhm.
feel like it's probably Roy, and they're just using like a stunt actor.
yeah,
to
and
do
then
the
and then
stuff.
in the mid-season finale, we'll be like, "Oh shit, it's Roy," and he'll
Yeah.
look different. I feel the same. Part of my brain too is like, "Oh, it could be someone time travel. Like it could be William,"
See,
but Arrow doesn't really like to do it that much. Like they did magic with Damien Dark, but they haven't done much since then.
right?
So I feel like that's where it would get cheesy, especially with the flash forwards.
Yeah, I don't think it's a time travel thing. Just because it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. Like,
It's just that's just like a comic book thing in my head. It's like, oh, it could be that, but I know it's not.
I mean, unless he like, what would be the reason that he went back to that time to
Save
get off?
Felicity, possibly. But that's the only thing I can think of. You know, is an like it depends on when he did it too. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like this William would be a Green Arrow. I feel like that's what they're leading towards potentially, but
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like he would be at all.
but I did enjoy the story they had. They kind of had like a one-off villain, people like
Yeah.
arsonists doing fire. City was mad at them, saying they need vigilantes back, which is funny because they're just telling it to Black Canary and Wild Dog.
Yeah.
That's it's cool the way they're structuring the season. Like there's 3 different storylines going on. I like
Mhm.
that. Let's talk a little bit about the flash forwards. How are you liking the flash forwards so far?
I like them, and they're only giving us a little bit.
Yeah, like it's a little.
I like
tease
it
going
because
on.
we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and that's the stuff too that like they can go so wild with that because like it's very unknown. Like they killed Felicity.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder if they'll explain how that happens or if that'll just be like something like I wonder if they can say like at the end of this season she's gonna die or next season or
Right.
what they're gonna do with that. And I do like at first I was a little iffy when they gave Zoe at the end of the episode that Black Canary necklace because I was like, okay, well she's gonna show up at some point in the
Right.
future. And then the next scene she showed up as Black Canary. I was a little iffy on that, but like thinking more about it, it'll be kind of cool. It'll be almost like a young Justice, like a young group of these fighters going up. Like there's
Yeah.
gonna be.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if they, because in Legends of Tomorrow when they went to the future
Mhm.
and there's Old Man Arrow, they had John Diggle Jr. as Green Arrow.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be interesting if he's involved. They could they could even go get the same actor probably.
Right.
But yeah, I'm interested like where that stuff's leading.
Yeah, that's the thing with the flash forward. They give you like a second, and then they're like, okay, now we're back to the regular. So
There's a lot more. There's more this episode than there's been.
yeah.
But yeah, I like it. It's weird too, cause like I'm more interested in the flash forward and I'm more interested in the prison stuff, and those are stuff we get the least.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what makes me not like the normal day stuff, is just 'cause those are so odd and different, and that's what I'm interested in.
yeah.
But not like I hate the storylines in the middle, but I'm like, oh, I want to know what's happening with Roy and William and Oliver.
Yeah. No, see, like when Felicity, when she tricks the what's her name, the silencer?
Yeah.
She tricks her to go back.
Yeah, back to Diaz because
yeah.
she built that belt or whatever.
I like the way that, like, she had to use her mind to get her.
Yeah,
to
they
that
actually
chick.
tricked me at first because she's been annoying, kind of like arguing, doing, I want to kill, like for a couple episodes.
Right.
So when she did that, and she threw the screwdriver. I was like, oh, that's not good. And then she went to talk to Laurel, and as they start talking, I was like, oh, wait, that's her plan. And then you can hear the chains going and all that. And I was like, oh, that actually kind of fooled me a little bit. Like, I could just be me being dumb, or they actually
but
did go with
yeah,
that.
but it actually, yeah, but you're right because she's been like, oh, we need to get this out of her and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You can.
It was good writing from the previous episodes leading into that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's why I don't know. I mean, if you look from her perspective, like no one's trying to help her do what she wants to do.
She lost William, which is her only like last thing to clench onto. She lost Oliver.
She didn't lose him. She sent him away.
Well, yeah, but she technically lost him because he's not going to be around for probably the rest of the season.
I read something while it was on commercial that a theory that she sent William away because William from the future came as Green Arrow and saved her from Diaz. That's how she got away from Diaz because they didn't show us.
Oh.
And they didn't. And they go, obviously she's seen Back to the Future, so she knows William can't see.
Oh my God.
I was like, wow. So
I was with your theory until you started going with that.
well, and then I'm like, wow, all right, that excludes that theory. So
yeah. You know, I feel like this is the most interested I've been in a season of Arrow in a little bit because it's just so different.
Well, if you remember, we were really, really interested in the beginning.
The beginning of last season, yeah, but then it got bad.
Yeah.
They did way too much with Diggle and his fucking hand and all that.
Yeah.
It's weird too how little Diggle's in it, like with Argus. Like him and Mr. Terrific were in like a scene this episode.
Yeah.
Maybe two, but I can't remember what the other one would have been.
Yeah, no, they brought her the. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they were barely.
He was like talking. He's oh, sorry, I got to Argus. Whatever.
He did a little more last week.
And then I guess he did go because the intel to talk to Wild
Yeah.
Dog. That was his second scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this week's episode. I'm really looking forward to next week's because supposedly we're gonna get that other person in prison that Oliver knows.
No.
Do you have any theories on who you think is still alive, or maybe a dead character that's not really dead is gonna be in that prison?
I don't have the slightest idea.
You don't have any idea? I
No.
know everybody thinks it's Malcolm Merlin. I'm like 99.9% sure that actor is not coming back to Arrow.
Well, the thing is to me that doesn't make sense because okay, so he
They gave him the perfect ending. He saved his daughter, all that. Like,
well, and so he fakes his death, but he got arrested.
yeah,
Come on.
that's the typical storyline that you would expect, and
Yeah.
it feels like they're trying extra hard this season to do unexpected things.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I feel like if it's anybody, it's gonna be like a villain that he was kind of working with, but maybe not, or even like a really bad villain that we just won't expect.
maybe it'd be Deathstroke's son.
It could be because they've shown his son. They showed him last season, and then they showed him in the Legends of Tomorrow future too. That was like the bad guy that episode.
Oh, really?
Which you didn't notice, but in the first flashback flash forward when they go there and Roy and Blim are walking down the street, there's a Deathstroke painted on the like a little brick outside with like an X through it or whatever.
Oh, really?
I thought that was interesting. It was cool because like they showed him in the previously on, so I wondered what that was gonna be. But like they didn't. Only other thing I saw of him was that. But yeah, it could be Slade's son. That'd be interesting.
I mean, I was just thinking of people that.
Yeah, it's
I
hard
don't
to
know.
think of people that like aren't dead on the show. It could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But thanks for watching. We'll be back next Monday for another episode of Arrow. I'm really looking forward to that. Flash isn't on this week, so unfortunately we can't do that. But we'll be back next week for that as well. See you guys then.